specifically is really getting students on that path, one, to think college is possible, two, to really guide them and not just tell them, oh, Sarah, you're college material, you know, and I want to help you. It's, okay, Sarah, you're college material. We need to sit down and figure this out for you so that it's real for you and your family. And how are we going to do that? So, I mean, at our core, really the Future Centers, which is our college access program, are kind of the heart and soul of DSF. Yeah. And that's really where the beginning of that long-term relationship with students is established, and really on that human person-to-person level of, you know, there's someone in the high school that actually is not going to tell me, no, I can't do something, or they're not just going to pat me on the back and say I'm a good kid. They're actually going to really physically work with me. Not physically is not the right word, but in a service capacity, sit down and work with me, and really be a college advisor. And we know a lot of our students don't have the culture of education in their homes that, you know, a lot of other students do in other communities, even surrounding communities in Denver, and how needed we are. And so it really boils down to that basic level of being a service provider.
Guiding students, helping them navigate, and helping them ask the questions that they probably wouldn't have, you know, thought of because you don't know what to ask. And some parents are able to advocate for their students because they've been through the system. But a lot of the students who do come to the Future Center are first generation. So this is, you know, this is the support they're getting outside of the home.
You really have to step back from everything and look at students as a source of human capital, right? That they have this not only potential individually, but what kind of capacity can they help build for your community, for your school system. And so to us, access really starts with, one, believing that it's possible. There are so many instances, and I worked in public schools for about a decade before I became more of an administrator. And I can't tell you how many times I ran across educators, teachers, counselors who didn't believe students could do it, who didn't believe that students were capable because they didn't have this measurable or this metric, or, you know, their reading and writing skills weren't what they needed to be, etc. But one, it's believing students can do it. I think that's the first part of access. Makes it successful is, and I can, you know, our success is tied in this college enrollment. So since our Future Centers were launched, college enrollment has the number of students who've been enrolled in college has increased by more than 30% in DPS. So there's several answers for this. I always think of things on the individual level and the district level, right? So you have your system and you have your kids, and you have to do both. You can't just focus on just the individual students, because you're not aware of what's the larger goal we're working toward, and you can't just be up here in the clouds and, you know, at the 3,000 foot level either, because you do have to care about details, you do have to care about process, you do have to care about data collection. So I think it's the combination of the two. And our partnership with DPS is what really allows the system piece to take place, right? So we work really closely with the Office of College and Career Readiness, and so they have an executive director that I talk to multiple times a week. We sit on a lot of committees together. We're accountable to them, essentially. And the district does help fund our program. And so, again, we think of ourselves as the grantee. So we have to report to DPS what our work is and how we're collaborating. So
I think it's just this tradition that East has. I'm not saying that other DPS schools don't have the same tradition, but I think that East has this expectation of students to continue with post-secondary education, regardless if it's, you know, a certificate or maybe a 4-year degree from an Ivy League. Like I said before, you know, we just want students to do something. You know, any type of education is worthwhile. So I don't know if it's, you know, East Angel tradition. I think it's ingrained in the walls. If you have those high expectations for students and letting them know that you believe in them, because a lot of students, it's all about believing in them. Just, you know, they might not see, you know, the diamonds that they are, right? And then you see something in them and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, you're really like, you know, you like to have relationships with people, you're very friendly, outgoing. Have you thought about this? And it's I think it's seeing, you know, believing in those students, having those high expectations, and, you know, and helping them reach those goals that they thought were unreachable or unimaginable.